Welcome back to Northwest Elite Spirit, the channel you come to train your mind, body, and spirit. I'm Coach Brian. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, do that now. This is Lessons from a Mystic. First things first, I have to admit that this title is clickbait. I am not a mystic. This title is also a sarcastic and facetious answer to some comments I've gotten from people who are pretending that I'm pretending to be a mystic, or from people who haven't tried some of these practices and yet have something to say, and also people who have warned me, I guess, and others through the stories of, say, Carlos Castaneda and how his life ended and what went on around him. First and foremost, I am a student. I do practice things that are considered mystical practices, and what I do is I go and I read about them or maybe listen to a video about them, and then I try them, and then I come back here and I report to you what I've experienced. I've also read, I guess you could call it audiobooks. I've recorded books here as well to share with you. You have people too who will say that these practices aren't a great idea or a good idea because of how, say, Carlos Castaneda's life turned out. But I understand perfectly well that new levels bring new devils, and when you practice self-empowerment and bringing power and freedom to yourself, that there are some things that can get in the way and that can and destroy you, and that can include your own ego. And I think that's why throughout the stories, Don Juan was warning Carlos that he had to be impeccable. And he would point out the things in Carlos's personality and habits that would get in the way if he weren't able to remedy them before he passed away. And what I'll do there, if you care to take the time, is I will read a chapter from a book that involves some of the practices I'm looking at. And then the next video will be me practicing and talking about what was in that chapter. You'll have people on here that will say possibly that I'm a hypocrite for practicing these things and then sharing them or trying to get monetized through sharing them. My videos aren't just about my mental and, say, spiritual practices. I also share physical practices, all things that you can experiment with. These are all experiments for you to go out into the world and test for yourself, and then hopefully come back and comment below how it worked out for you, if at all, and I guess adjustments you might make or realizations you've had. Now, in reading these Carlos Castaneda books, I keep getting these comments that Carlos's books can't be real and they're just a hodgepodge of things from different cultures all over the world and different practices. And for that, I say that doesn't prove anything's real or disreal or unreal for me, because that is literally how I've put my stuff together, my practices together, is that I've gone out into the world and sought out different practices from different people, even different teachers within the same, say, arts, to build my own way of doing things and my own story. I've also had people comment that, like, almost like, where are my superpowers? If I'm a mystic, where are my superpowers? And why can't I do things those people can't do or they themselves can't do? I would answer that these quote-unquote mystical practices don't give a person powers beyond the abilities of anyone else. If you practice these mental, physical, spiritual techniques, you will have results too, and sometimes extraordinary results. Again, extraordinary results aren't beyond the reach of other men. It's just that I've gone ahead and applied them to things that other men aren't willing to put themselves through or haven't found a way to put themselves through. And my most recent examples are my ultra runs, where I run 200 plus miles. 200 plus miles is the longest I've gone, but I've gone anywhere from 67 to 204 miles while including these practices. And I will say that without a doubt, these practices, these mystical practices, do help with physical performance. A lot of it is just mindset and perception, changing the way you look at things, being willing to change the way you think, and coming up with ways to get through whatever it is that you're getting through. And I invite you, the viewer, to hit the subscribe button and the notification button and go a little further into what it is I'm talking about in my videos. Again, mind, body, and spirit. Try all three. I encourage you to not only study what I'm sharing here, but study other practices and what other people think and how they look at these things, and begin to develop your own point of view and your own practices that will empower your journey towards whatever it is you're getting at in life. And remember that criticizing my practices or the practices I share does not invalidate what I'm talking about. The only way to validate or invalidate anything that I'm talking about or anything that anybody is talking about is to go out in the world and diligently practice it yourself. Keep only what is useful for you and discard the rest. Remembering that dedication and repetition is the key. Don't just try a couple times and give up. Try something for 2-3 months and then decide if it works for you. Comment below and tell me what you think. If you like this video and think it was informative and helpful, hit the like button, share it with other interested parties, and as always, practice. Once again, I'm Coach Brian with Northwest Elite Spirit. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, do that now. This has been Lessons from a Mystic, or Not So Mystic. To purchase my book, written with the help of AI, The ABCs of Strength and Endurance, the Essential Handbook for Strength and Endurance Success, go to Amazon or Kindle. Thank you.